YAHANNA presents the Midwest Fire Weekend.
My name is Commander General YAHANNA of the I.S.U.P.K. and we here in the safest place you ever could be at in Chicago.
Hosted by Captain Mawquad.
I am Captain Mawquad of the I.S.U.P.K. Under Commander General YAHANNA, in charge of putting this Midwest Fire Weekend together.
July 27th through July 30th, the Midwest Fire Weekend, starting Thursday, July 27th, 9909 Roosevelt Road, Suite 100, Westchester, Illinois. Breakfast at 10 a.m. through 12 p.m. Also, Ask He the Prophet with General YAHANNA from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. General Muhammad Scripture Breakdown class. From 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Cross the Line Radio with Captain Tazoriak and Captain Kataza. Late night activity from 12 a.m. until Friday, July 28th. We will have camp downtown Chicago at Magnificent Mile, 430 Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60611 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event that you don't want to miss, Commanding General YAHANNA's lecture.
For God's justice to be right in the earth, this entire country has to be devastated in nuclear war.
At 1522 South Wabash Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60605 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
That's right. I was a young man 35 years ago, and they said Russia would turn on America after it came together with America.
$30 per person for the lectures. Use QR code or go to Eventbrite to purchase. Following the lecture, there will be a party from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. After that, an after party spot from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Saturday, July 29th, the Bantu Festival from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Located at 1130 Midway Pleasance, Chicago, Illinois. After that, late night activity, TBA, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday, July 30th, the Black and Brown Cookout at Garfield Park. Located at 3631 Westlake Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60624. From 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Contact us at 312-837-8022 or 708-417-0706. The Midwest Fire Weekend in Chicago. Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle. Finally, the truth about King James, a black man who helped to preserve and safeguard the Bible. Live September 29th, 2023. Commanding General YAHANNA live at King James Castle in Scotland. Come on down and support the I.S.U.P.K. UK. Lift a glass, come and join the brotherhood and drink with the ancient as we celebrate and keep the Feast of Tabernacles for our King Yahushua in King James Castle, bringing his crew of heavy hitters. Commanding General YAHANNA will put 12 chill General Muhammad Scripture Breakdown class up against anyone, against any biblical scholar, untested, unchallenged, I.S.U.P.K. undefeated. Leviticus chapter 23, the Feast of Tabernacles in a black man's castle, hosted in Scotland, the United Kingdom, UK. Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle, Thursday, September 28th, Scripture Breakdown class. Friday, September 29th, there will be a King James Castle tour Also, a Johnny Walker distillery tour. And Friday night, the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles. Saturday, September 30th, we will have camp on the streets of England. Sunday, October 1st, the UK Cookout. Monday, October 2nd, the Warwickshire Castle Tour. I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA at King James Castle in England. This is an absolutely monumental, historical event.
Want us to stop. But man, don't we deserve a shot? Don't we deserve a shot to be the Lord's people? Israel, let's do it!
I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA presents the Midwest Fire Weekend.
My name is Commanding General YAHANNA of the I.S.U.P.K, and we here in the safest place you ever could be at in Chicago.
Hosted by Captain Mawquad.
I am Captain Mawquad of the I.S.U.P.K, under commanding General YAHANNA, in charge of putting this Midwest Fire Weekend together.
July 27th through July 30th, the Midwest Fire Weekend, starting Thursday, July 27th, 9909 Roosevelt Road, Suite 100, Westchester, Illinois. Breakfast at 10 a.m. through 12 p.m. Also, Ask He the Prophet with General Mayaka from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. General Mahayama Scripture Breakdown class. From 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Cross the Line Radio with Captain Tazoriak and Captain Kataza. Late night activity from 12 a.m. until Friday, July 28th. We will have camp downtown Chicago at Magnificent Mile, 430 Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60611 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event that you don't want to miss, commanding General YAHANNA's lecture.
For God's justice to be right in the earth, this entire country has to be devastated in nuclear war.
At 1522 South Wabash Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60605 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
That's right. I was a young man 35 years ago, and they said Russia would turn on America after it came together with America.
$30 per person for the lectures. Use QR code or go to Eventbrite to purchase. Following the lecture, there will be a party from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. After that, an after party spot from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Saturday, July 29th, the Bantu Festival from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Located at 1130 Midway Pleasance, Chicago, Illinois. After that, late night activity, TBA, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday, July 30th, the Black and Brown Cookout at Garfield Park. Located at 3631 West Lake Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60624. From 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Contact us at 312-837-8022 or 708-417-0706. The Midwest Fire Weekend in Chicago. Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle. Finally, the truth about King James, a black man who helped to preserve and safeguard the Bible. Live September 29th, 2023. Commanding General YAHANNA live at King James Castle in Scotland. Come on down and support the I.S.U.P.K UK. Lift the glass, come and join the brotherhood and drink with the ancient as we celebrate and keep the Feast of Tabernacles for our King Yahushua in King James Castle, bringing his crew of heavy hitters. Commanding General YAHANNA will put 12 chill General Muhammad scripture breakdown class up against anyone, against any biblical scholar, untested, unchallenged, I.S.U.P.K, undefeated. Leviticus chapter 23, the Feast of Tabernacles in a black man's castle, hosted in Scotland, the United Kingdom, UK. Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle, Thursday, September 28th, Scripture Breakdown class. Friday, September 29th, there will be a King James Castle tour, also a Johnny Walker Distillery tour, and Friday night, the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles. Saturday, September 30th, we will have camp on the streets of England. Sunday, October 1st, the UK Cookout. Monday, October 2nd, the Warwickshire Castle Tour. I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA at King James Castle in England. This is an absolutely monumental, historical event.
Want us to stop. But man, don't we deserve a shot? Don't we deserve a shot to be the Lord's people? Israel, let's do it!
$22.99 dirty cop. He gonna hook it up. Come on, Nakawa, hook me up. Go ahead, I'm
Fuck wrong with you, boy? John Dummy made the billion logo. Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. It's wicked as hell. Arresting a man for nothing, got him sitting in jail. Look down on us, call us niggas when they niggas themselves. Supposed to show them the way, instead they showed them a cell. Fuck nigga, how the fuck is you a man in the Lord? You pull up with white boys and you put niggas in the back of the car, but you wouldn't last a day in their yard with all them killers, them lions and them tigers and them bears and them gorillas. Tried to convince a nigga to snitch on his own brother. Beware the purple Israelite group, they undercover, so pussy ass nigga. Ratting that bitch, tell him take off that badge and I'll bat him in his shit. Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. False doctrine, a nigga that shot that tranny. The dick pic, the fake pictures on social media, you posing as bitches. The murder on John Morgan, how her body came up missing. That scheming nigga cannot stealing that brother bitch. The marching for the rich, but don't do nothing for the poor. The shit them niggas tried on the Kansas City boat. Them purple niggas tried that same bullshit before. Cap told them, bitch, if I'm a hoe, then treat me like a hoe. But shot told them they lightweight, they packed up all they shit. Fuck wrong with you, boy, we meant war around this bitch. Undercover ass, purple badge, and needs to ass, bitch. We know cowards on the men prepared to die around this bitch, you heard? Cricket officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, cricket cop badge number 2299. Cricket officer, can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, cricket cop badge number 2299.
You broke off and created something. God deserves that we stand with him and walk forward. I.S.U.P.K, be strong. We ain't weak. No cowards, bitch.
That's right, sir.
Okay? That's how we ride. That's right. I don't know you. I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is Black Watch with Commanding General YAHANNA, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he made man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
You don't need a black man in the White House. You need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Black Watch. Let the show begin.
Yeah. What's going on, Israel? I.S.U.P.K.com is the website. I'm Commander General YAHANNA. I got the helm. Got the heavy hitters in the building with me. General Mahiaman in the building. General Micah Allah in the building with me. General Hazayan in the building with me. And I got Officer Morale, Officer Yadiah, Officer Ibai, Officer in the back, Trooper Nabaya, holding us down. Big shout out to all y'all, man, holding down up in here tonight. Of course, you know we got a lot to talk about tonight, man. First, let me plug my thing, y'all. Come see me out in Chicago, okay? Tickets are available online. Put a Hebrew in play, okay? This the last weekend in July, from the 27th through the 31st, we're gonna be jamming all weekend long. Okay, the wonderful sisters from Texas are coming up. They will be performing at the lecture. We will be having drinks and partying. It ain't just I know y'all don't want to come hear me talk from the loud. I already know. I'm bringing the singers. I want the band. I'm bringing the thing like a carnival. I'm coming in there like with a carnival. I said, I know these Negroes don't want to hear. They gotta stop getting the eye and come together with me. I said, you know what? Let me get a carnival of Negroes with me. Give them a reason to come down here. So they can get this righteous message that they should be wanting to get regardless. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna work with them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, y'all come on down, man. It's gonna be a beautiful, powerful lecture, man. We're gonna support Captain Mao Quad. Come on, y'all, TikTok. Y'all know what it is. We supporting Captain Mao Quad, the Midwest monster of mayhem, brother. He been out there with them brothers, man, building camps all over the Midwest. He got about 15 camps, something like that out there. I forget the count. That they building all over, man, and touching into all those cities. So we gonna support him on this, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all that supported us, we're gonna try now to support all these camps, man, and get them up stronger. And we gonna put our brick in for y'all the way y'all putting your brick in for the work of the Most High through you know, man, and your Howard Shai. So we love it. So come on out, man. Join me. I'm gonna be getting it on the downtown Chicago on the 28th, I think it is. In that weekend, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see the flyers. It's in the beginning of this tape. It's all over the internet. You understand? We got billboards up. We got commercials on the radio. We all over putting it out. I think it's gonna be nice. And you know, you can get your tickets online. So y'all come on out, man. Support us. The barbecue, the cookout is always the bomb. Every year it's rocking and rolling. So join us with that. All right. So do I want to plug it? Oh, General Muhammad, of course, gonna do his thing Thursday night. I think the 27th. Thursday night, General Muhammad will be in the building in Chicago, teaching that super class he throws down with every year. Midwest always looking forward to that. And let me say this, man, come on out because we got to take care. We got to support ourselves. The scriptures say, esteem thy brother daily. When you come out, man, in the right spirit with your brothers and sisters, you esteem that brother and that brother can esteem you. And that's why it's important that we all come out. I know it's an effort. I know it's tough, but trust me, whatever else you think you're getting ready to do is never going to be as important as what it is we doing with this work. We literally the last men standing.
That's right.
Every Israelite group, man, has been diminished by these dirty purple cops. And they sitting up there trying to, you know, sit supreme like they the Israelite group to be with me. Meanwhile, it's a full-fledged psyops that they operating on. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, as soon as my billboard went up in Chicago, they went and had a march in Chicago.
Ain't that something?
As soon as the billboard went up, the next week they had a march in Chicago. All of a sudden they had it, and they'll say, "We been had it planned." No, you ain't been had it planned. You done heard me planning this weekend with my quad for weeks with your little surveillance tapes. You know what I'm saying? You've been hearing about it. So that's why you had it planned the weeks ahead. So these cats is dirty cop. We the last men standing. We the last sincere truth holding this down. I never thought my job and my position and the work that I've done in the Lord would be this important. Neither did I ever think that the men that was with me, that this was going to be so important that they hold this line. But we come to find out it is important. It's absolutely necessary. You understand? Like make your decision now if you're going to be a prophet of God and stand for this truth, because the Third World War is definitely coming. I'm going to be dropping some things up in there to blow your mind on what it is that they planning, and more importantly, what they planning for us and why we don't have to fear it, why we don't have to worry about what they getting ready to come on with. You know what I mean? But we'll know about it and be able to help other brothers with it. I got to tell y'all a quick story. I know I'll be running, but this is a true story and I'm going to bug you out on. I went down to D.C. About 2 weeks ago. Big shout out to Captain Mao Quad. Big shout out to General Shalom, General Q, all the brothers out there, man, all the captains, everybody rolling. General Kathum Gabar, you know, man, he's up in New York handling some business. So I went down there, right? I got up on the microphone as soon as I got up, and you could ask the brothers this. They probably got it on tape, but they probably had to take the tape down so that they didn't get flagged. I got up on the mic. The first thing I said is, brothers, we got to get rid of the demons on y'all. And a brother went crazy. I mean, I was up there. I had to been up there 10 seconds. And the brother came running. No, hell no, nigga, hell no. The nigga lifted up the table with the merchandise like this. Ask Mashak. He lifted up the table like this. Boom, threw the table down. I said to myself, please, Lord, don't let these brothers kill this man. Because there's nothing on this table worth taking this brother's life. But then the brother went and grabbed a shopping cart and swung the shopping cart towards the brother. Why'd he do that? Brother, it was like locusts. Them brothers fell on this cat out, I mean, in less than 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, they had this brother 20 feet from the camp, upside down on his head. And the main one on top of him was Captain I.S.U.P.K. I ain't no captain. Y'all make sure y'all keep I.S.U.P.K. in the back of the camp. And Mashak. Because Mashak went out there like Mike Tyson on the cat. And I was so scared because on that corner over there, there's a restaurant there. And the whole restaurant's made of glass. And when they went to back him up, Mashak just went into him. Wop, wop, wop. Brother, he started backing up and I'm watching. I'm seeing the vision. They finna go through this glass, and this man gonna get chopped the hell up if they go through the glass. But they stopped before he hit the glass. I think the Lord stopped because the cat, they knocked the cat back so much he threw his bag down. And he threw his bag down. Meshach stepped on the bag and slid a little bit, just enough to knock this cat through the window. I mean, it was the Lord. And so they had the brother down. Listen, they came down on this brother so ferociously. And it's true. Y'all can see the tape. They came down on him so ferociously that all the people, all the black people that be up under that band shell, up where the subway, they all came running out. And guess what they were shouting? Don't kill him. Don't you kill him. They were so scared for him that they all came running out in one accord. Shalom, sis. Y'all smoking about shit outside. They all came running out on one accord. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. And I said on the mic, they ain't gonna hurt him. I'm saying to myself, they better not hurt him. But I'm saying on the mic, I'm saying, they ain't gonna hurt him. Oh, they ain't gonna hurt that brother. Man, they ain't worrying about hurting that brother. So they had him down. So then they let him up. He was mad and all that. He stood on the side. He stood on the side like this, just mad up against the wall for like 2 hours. We steady speaking. We speaking. At the end of the 2 hours, he came over to the camp and he apologized to every brother in the camp. He came back and apologized to every brother in the camp. Now, I got to tell you the weird part. Yesterday, a brother who lives in Virginia, working in the store, is in the store teaching a brother about the scriptures. And a Jake comes walking in the store to buy something. He hears the brother teaching, and he say to the brother, he say, I hear what y'all teaching. You teaching. He said, yeah, man, you one of them Israelites, right? He said, yeah. He said, yeah, man, I just got into it with them Israelites over there in D.C. 2 weeks ago. And the brother turned to him and said, I know. I was the one holding you down. He said the brother nearly jumped out his skin. The brother said, what? He said, man, I got to watch y'all. Y'all niggas is everywhere. And the brother was cold. I'm not sure which brother was, but they sent me the picture. The brother said, nah, brother, you ain't got to watch for us. We going to watch your back. He said, what? He said, yeah, man, we going to watch your back, brother. The brother said, man, I apologize again, man. I apologize, man. Y'all brothers is trying to do right by me, man. I apologize. Yo, he hugged him up and took a picture with the brother. And now he won't come to the school and come to the camp. I said, this is how we do it. It was wild. Because how that happened all the way in Virginia when the incident happened in D.C. And then he came back and got right all the way in Virginia a second time. I said, listen, if the Lord ain't showing you to come into I.S.U.P.K, you sleep on the game. Because if that ain't the Most High, how does that happen? Except the Lord wants you in the body. And so anyway, so I had to tell y'all about that because it was an incredible story. Big shout out to Meshach, Mayan, I.S.U.P.K, and all the brothers that was out there that night. Q was out there too. I was scared because you know Q there. You know, Q was on the backside. He was backing the hell up. Q was coming up from the back. Q slipped up out the whip. And he coming up from the back. You know, Q handles that thing. Of course. So I see Q coming from the other side. I'm like, they ain't gonna hurt him. They ain't gonna touch him. Nah, they ain't gonna hurt him at all. And I'm looking like these brothers here, brother. So that's a lesson the Lord is trying to bring us in, man. And this is the end. So he gonna pull everybody in the way he's supposed to pull them in, and we're gonna get it on, man. So I just wanted to add that to the body of what we're doing. So you need to come out. You need to hear General Muhammad's class Thursday night. Right. Let them get it up. And you can't, and it ain't the same. When it's live, it's still bad online. Don't get me wrong. But the live class with General Muhammad is definitely fire, especially if you catch him in another city. And if you get some of that good scotch he like. You get that little frog up in there, he in another city. Oh, you gonna get you a class. You gonna get you a real, you know what I'm saying? You gonna get some understanding. You know what I mean? So you need to do that, man. We need to do that. We have to fight to be with each other. We have to fight to bring these lines of brotherhood together. We have to do it now because this bastard here is trying to control our minds by bringing us into the cyber world. So that was it. I had to bring that out. And then was something else going on with these purple pigs. What was the other thing? I know they did the march out there, but I mentioned something.
Oh, it was I got a text just now that says that when they eat, during their so-called high holy days,
right,
moon worship services, that women eat in rank.
Wait a minute, hold it. The women got rank in there?
The women meaning if the woman, whatever the rank is of their husband, that's how they eat. So the wives of the bishops and deacons and aldermen eat before the younger ranked men, their wives. In essence, the women eat in rank, the women have rank in the I.U.I.C. That's the text I just received. I believe women are fed in rank, as in husband's rank, single sisters eat last. I'm just quoting the text I have right here.
Let me tell you something.
If I could say one last
thing.
And these come from members in the I.U.I.C. who are too afraid to speak publicly because they've signed a non-disclosure agreement, but they contact us all the time, all day.
It's just like the Christian church. You know how many Christians I've known over the years who talk about how bad and the horrible things going on in their church. And when I pose the question, well, why are you still there? They say, what's my family? I've been there so long, all my family there. That's just what you're used to. Yeah. You're used to it, you stay there. It's problems like any family, but you stay there because you love the people and you know what I'm saying? That's just like I.U.I.C., It ain't about really serving God. It's just about who you know, who you used to, your habits,
And it's mainly about a bunch of punks who are too afraid. They're afraid of street people. They're afraid of drug dealers and afraid of gangs. And they think that because they have numbers that they feel safe. Sir, I have a video that Kazak showed me of the I.U.I.C. marching on O Block, which is a so-called famous block for gang violence. And marching even with the cadence and the songs of the state police. I mean, the exact mimic. They didn't even have imagination. Their own rhythm. They march literally with the rhythm of the state police. Can I play it for Commander General YAHANNA? Check this out, sir. This is their march in Chicago that, of course, the I.U.I.C. did in fear of what Commanding General YAHANNA is going to bring to Chicago. And, of course, they go march at some block with people devastated by poverty. O Block, if brothers don't know about O Block, Commanding General YAHANNA will be in O Block, will be in Chicago, will be in South Side, the West Side of Chicago, will be in the terrible parts of Chicago, healing the sick and raising the dead.
Damn right,
the O Block is a neighborhood that people hate because Fox News constantly shows this neighborhood to say this is the problem with America. This is where we need more police presence. This is what's wrong. This is the violence that the police need to stomp out in America. And just like purple pigs, the I.U.I.C. goes to O Block to scare black people who are living in a devastated condition. Do you think black people commit crime because they're coming out of their mansions deciding to do crime?
Right.
They're devastated with poverty. The I.U.I.C. marched down to these devastated people, are hurt, and marched on them like cops. And I'll show you, sir. Go ahead.
Oh no. Hit the left, right, go. Hit the left, right, go. I know a place. I know a place. Crime got to stop. Crime got to stop. We rolling through.
State police.
Hail, hail, state police.
King of the road, come follow me.
King of the road, come follow me.
They the same.
Doc has this whole video out where they're singing the same cadence because they're crooked cops and they believe that they can intimidate poor people to not want to eat and not drink and to starve to death in silence in some ghetto in America. And because it's so many of you, like the police think that force can stop crime. If they beat you up enough, if they kick in enough doors, they can stop desperate people from doing what desperate people do.
That's right.
What every desperate race does. The IUIC is just a bunch of purple pigs, crooked cops who are sent into black neighborhoods to do the work of white police.
Right.
That's exactly what they're doing, and you won't even be able to complain because they're black. So you won't be able to scream racism when the purple pigs march down your block and intimidate your son and drag your son out of a car and pull your son over and tell him, why is he walking around here?
Right.
You won't be able to scream racism because they're going to be black. The police in the IUIC in the neighborhoods, they work with the police. They are the police. It's a co-intel program by America's police departments to fulfill the will of the conservative party in America. And they're going to go to neighborhoods thinking that they're evil. Who are people living in projects who don't have anything, who are suffering? Haas.
So ain't this what what's the cat name? Ain't this what Farrakhan did?
Yeah, Haas. That's all I could remember. Is that Farrakhan tried this same idiocy in the 90s. They went into every project, the Nation of Islam. And they would go into the projects in Washington, D.C. and in Chicago. One of them is famous now, and they whooped his ass to bloody piss. Neri, what's his name? Remember that Muslim one, Neri? He's light-skinned, super light-skinned cat. He tells the story how they was in the projects, making the projects safe, and those projects brothers beat him damn near to death.
Wow.
And his rest of his Muslim brothers left him.
Wow.
Now that's you can find it on YouTube. They all try this because they're paid by police, which is why the Nation of Islam does security for Jay-Z and does security for every famous rapper. They do security for Snoop Dogg because every famous rapper hires them because they will beat up black people for you. They will shoot black people for you. They'll hate the people that you want them to hate. The IUIC is trying the same garbage. And of course, the Nation of Islam had the Million Man March, and it meant nothing.
Yeah.
Salakia, sir.
Don't know if I could. I remember when the Million Man March happened. I had a slave downtown, so I'm in this parking garage, and this older Jake asked me, "Yeah, young brother, did you go to the Million Man March?" I said, "No, I didn't." And he tried to chastise me for not going, right? So I listened to him for a second. I thought, I got a question for you. I said, while I didn't go to the Million Man March, but what I do, I talk to the young brothers in the ghetto in the hood. Do you do that? Them cats who selling drugs in my neighborhood in Southwest, from Springfield Avenue, 55th, 56, all around there, they all know me, and I go talk to them all the time. Oh, man, here you go. All right, come on, OG. All the time. I said, do you do that? I said, what kind of change are you really trying to make? While y'all marching and holler about the Million Man March, who going into the ghetto? Who talking to these young brothers and sisters, man, about what they doing, the choice they make to sell these drugs in the court? Who doing that? I told him, you said you ain't doing it, but I am. I said, so brother, don't try to chastise me because I ain't go. I'm where it counts in the ghetto in the hood, talking to my young brothers and sisters, trying to get them out that life. Right. I don't forget that. He gonna say nothing.
If I could, sir.
Go ahead, please. Good.
If I could think of one thing that Commander General YAHANNA did among the many things that is revolutionary, right? It is this, because this is not done in the Black civil rights movement, in the Hispanic civil rights movement. This is what Commanding General YAHANNA taught us. Do not blame yourself.
Damn right.
Don't do that. That is revolutionary, because you will never hear anyone say that your crime, the murders you commit, the things you steal, it is not your fault.
Right.
It is the fault of your oppressor. And there is no race that would not commit crime if they were oppressed like you. None. Every race on the planet has done these same crimes.
And still does.
And still does it. Have you ever heard of a pipe dream? You know what a pipe dream is? That's what they call people that went to Chinese opium dens. Yeah. And they had hallucinations when they smoked the pipe. The Chinese. Right. And they called it having a pipe dream or a den of iniquity. That's a Chinese opium house. There is no race that would not sell drugs, murder, steal, if they lived in your conditions and if another race was oppressing them. The Italians did it, the Irish did it, the Jewish people did it. The Jewish people are Murder Incorporated. Murder Inc. is a Jewish gang. It is not an Italian gang.
Right.
It is not an Irish gang. Murder Incorporated is a Jewish gang because they lived in the tenements in New York.
That's right.
And they were suffering. Who wouldn't?
And
please, sir.
If I could just add to what you're saying, because what you're saying is so important. Because here's what everybody misses. And this is why we're so easily enslaved. Not only were they criminals like you bring it out, not only if you trace their history, you could see how they started out as criminals, but they operate as criminals right now today. Like, it don't matter how big or rich or wealthy they ever get. Like, America went to Afghanistan to take over the opioid fields. When they took over the opioid fields, you had what's it? Oxycontin
SHALAM
come out all over the world. That's a drug rip. That's what you call in the hood a drug rip.
Yeah.
That's what happened. They went into Iraq and took over the oil wells. That was a rip. That's what all the nations do. Listen, them ships that's circling Taiwan from China. Taiwan is a sovereign country. They're not breaking any Chinese law. So why do the Chinese have ships around? Because they got microchips the Chinese need. So the Chinese ain't going to negotiate and pay them for it. The Chinese going to do a what? A rip. So they run with the problem is we don't understand. We don't understand that the world is criminals. The only kingdom that'll ever be run on this earth that will not be criminals will be the kingdom of Yahushua.
That's right.
Let's go to Ukraine. The Ukrainians in 2014, they slid up in there and overthrew the government, ran the president out of there. He ran back to Putin, ran him out of there and tried to set up Zelensky in a democratic government. Russia turned around, man, got armed up and did another rip. Just like any drug bust on any block. Like, that's what we don't understand. That's why when the cops come and do dirty things to us, we acting like, yo, it wasn't right what they did. They doing a rip on you the same way. That's why the Lord said, man, don't fall into their hands. Agree with him on the way and get your butt into the zone with the Lord, and then you can deal with him. Because why? Everybody's operating as criminals out here. You think that it's just an accident that all the Koreans and the Filipinos and everybody else are able to open up all the Chinese restaurants and hire all their own people and never have to hire you, not just in your city, in every city in America. Like, that is a complete gangster operation. With all the affirmative action, so-called equal opportunity laws, all the discrimination laws, all those laws, they able to operate with full autonomy. Same in the entertainment industry. You hearing all these stories real quick. You hearing all these stories about all these entertainers mad at their concerts because the concert tickets are so high. The concert tickets are so high because the so-called Jew is controlling all the stadiums, just like he's controlling all the playhouses, just like he's controlling all of Hollywood. You see they protesting on the streets of Hollywood. Why? Because he's doing a rip. What's his rip? He going to try to eliminate as many of these $20 million actors as he can by using a digital image or a digital image that he creates that he don't have to pay nobody. It's a rip. It's simply a rip. Why? Because they all run like gangsters. They all criminals, like you brought out. That's how they started. And we act like they dealing righteously when they're not dealing righteously. The only one that's trying to be righteous because he's the righteous people is you. You the only one trying to walk in righteousness, but you don't understand the field you in. That's why Christ said, you understand that I send you as sheep among wolves for that very reason. Let me read a couple comments, man. You know what I mean? Amanabab, big shout out to Amanabab Yahweh. She said, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. She paraphrasing. You understand? And that's such a true statement. I want to catch one from up here. There was somebody made a tight statement. Zakan said, choose none of the oppressor's ways. Paraphrasing. That's that Proverbs, 31 or 30. One of those. I can pull it for you right now if I could get it. Hold on. Proverbs 3:31, right? Proverbs 3:31. Good point. Good point. Like, We to envy none of them. We got to come away from them.
That's right.
What you're
sir.
saying is so right. They show the movies of how they started out as criminals and gangsters and all of that. But they stayed that way. They didn't change. They didn't change. Go to Africa right now. Oh my God, they down in Africa like gangbusters. They robbing all the minerals out of there, man, robbing all the cobalt. They just basically are stealing. In Central, what do you think everybody's running across the border to come in the United States for? They down there robbing Central and South America. Listen, them countries are rich as hell. You know what's in that Amazon, man? Every kind of plant and herb you could ever think of is in that Amazon. And they need all of that for medicines, man. Go ahead, you was gonna say something? Use the microphone. Use the microphone.
So recently, I was like, learning about the herbs out in nature and all of that. And they was telling me, like, hey, this tree right here is used for, like you said, medicine.
Yeah.
Like root beer. So just to produce root beer, you gotta cut down sassafras tree.
Yeah.
So just imagine, in my head, I'm calculating. I'm like, well, you gotta use this tree. Really, the root of it. How many trees do you gotta cut down?
Forget about it. They like to make you think that coconuts mainly come from the Caribbean. Coconuts don't mainly come from the Caribbean. Coconuts come from the jungles of Central and South America, from the Amazon jungle. They're growing in the Amazon jungle because it takes like 5 years before it starts having coconut. So they done planted tons of these plants in the middle of the jungle, and the plants grow over 4 or 5 years. Then when they get to maturity, then they start letting out all the coconuts. Like all the resources, not just them. It was a total rip the way they ripped off them Hawaiians for them pineapples. Like Dole shouldn't have a picture of a pineapple. It should have a picture of a machine gun.
That's right.
On the label.
That's right.
Because that's basically how they got them pineapples.
That's right.
They went down there, brother, and totally devastated them islands, took over that industry, and now, they running it, and just like any gangsters. And that's what's so beautiful about YAHANNA and why we got to stick with him. Because when Christ returned, the scripture said that every nation will return to their land and shall learn war no more. War ain't nothing but an extension of a gangster ripoff. War ain't, or unless somebody's trying to rip you off, then of course you trying to repel that gangster. But that's all war is. War ain't based on nobility like they try to show you in the movies. War is based on stealing what somebody else got. Why they invaded Syria? I go on all night. Why they invaded Syria? Because Syria got oil wells very close to the state of Israel. They already using some of the Syrian. Listen, Israel, the state of Israel's in Syria using Syria's oil well, and Syria can't even stop them because of the military power they got. Yeah. So they in there trying to take the rest of the country and take all the damn oil wells. That's all that's going on in this earth, which is why when Christ returns, it's going to be so beautiful. Because being the chosen and not being able to have a piece of this world is going to give you the birthright to have a piece of the world to come. Remember what the scripture said in the Apocrypha. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that which followed. So when the new world is set up under YAHANNA, you get to get that birthright, which means you wasn't part of the rips. You was the slaves under the rips. So everybody that did rips and robbed and stole, guess what? They all getting ready to have to now go in their land, and they ain't going to fight war. And listen, they ain't going to fight war because that's another thing Christians teach. They ain't going to stop fighting war because of love and kindness and sweetness. That's bullshit. Excuse my French, TikTok. They're going to stop war because the Lord is going to put so much terror on these nations in his return that they're going to know if we even think about invading that nation over there, Christ and his angels are going to come up and destroy our country. What they try to do in the UN is going to be done in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is going to be where everybody discusses whose nations and borders and identities and resources and where it all goes. And it's going to start with all of them resources coming into Christ's kingdom. That's why the scriptures say the gate's going to stay open day and night. And that's why the Third World War is so important now. So important to know these times and what we're supposed to do. And here's what else is beautiful about the Third World War. The Third World War coming up and all this happening is one of the great opportunities to give you strength to fight against your own selfish lust. Like knowing that this war is getting ready to start is healthy for you so that you don't go off into your carnal mind trying to do something, you know, special in this kingdom. This place got to burn to pieces, just like Jerusalem burnt in 70 AD, and Christ told them it would happen. And now it's going to burn again. They're a bunch of gangsters, man, all over this earth. And that's fine. They can live how they want to live because Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of that which follows.
That's right, sir.
In our kingdom, in our world, all the resources going to Christ. And it's going to be understood why. We got thousands of years of history showing why. They're going to bring all them resources in. Let me tell you something. In Christ's kingdom out, when Christ gets set up, if it's found out that you are of the seed of the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel, brother, it's going to be a national emergency in their country. You could be in the middle of Konk. I don't care where the hell your country is. They're going to say, yo, we trace the history of this guy. And this guy right here is one of the 12 lost tribes of the children of Israel. It's going to be like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Emergency, emergency. We have one of the chosen. He has to be delivered back to Jerusalem. That's how it's going to be. They're going to be calling in fighter jets like, yo, get his family. What does he need? Make sure his health is right. Present it. Clean up the plane. Clean up the plane. Make it look beautiful. Fly it on in. Get permission. It's going to be like that. Yeah. It's going to be like that. The scriptures, what's the scripture? The scripture said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be carried what? On their shoulders.
That's correct.
You understand? Exactly. Like, that's why it say that. Meaning, it ain't literally going to be on his shoulders no more. That's how it was in the ancient world. Mm-hmm. But in the modern world, they're going to do whatever they got to do to get you back to Christ. Because that's how, just like it's important to be an American, like if you've ever traveled overseas, real quick, you know that having an American passport is a lot of power.
Yeah.
You have an American passport, they kind of cool with you because they know America is wielding a lot of power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if you white. You white and got an American passport. And even if you black, you got an American passport, they handle you a lot different than if you got some passport from some country they don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? When Christ's kingdom gets set up, when they know you of the 12 tribes, brother, they rolling out the red carpet because they're going to know, and it's going to be in the records. It's going to be like, look, these are the people that all served us in slavery in all of our kingdoms from the beginning of time. And these people always had a God that was the God of the slaves. And we ignored that God. We set up our own gods. And that God of the slaves came for them. And now we are their servants forever.
That's right.
That's going to be our history. Yeah. That's what's going to be all in their records, in their countries, and all that. Their kids going to learn that in grade school. They're going to learn that in Jerusalem is the rulership of the world. Just like they look at America. You see how they look at America? In some countries, they think America got golden streets in some of these countries. You know what I mean? So that's it. Damn right. That's all right.
Damn right, so.
I.S.U.P.K said they also got fentanyl. That's true. That's all them drugs came out of them wars, them rips, them gangster rips, pouring dope in on us in the 60s. Oh my God, that's a gangster move. We went and fought for all those rights, civil rights, education rights. You know what I mean? All those rights we fought for, and legally and morally, they couldn't deny us. Morally, they said, look, these people been our slaves. We can't just not do that. If we do that, we're going to further alienate them and separate them, and they'll become powerful, and we'll have a problem with them. So we can't not give them these rights. So they gave us the rights. As soon as they gave us the rights, they did a rip. We're going to give them the rights, but we're going to wipe out their whole next 3 generations. We're going to give them their rights. As soon as we give them their rights, we sending them to Vietnam. And when they get out there in Vietnam, we're gonna make them dope fiends. And while they dope fiends, we're gonna make sure we bring it back to the United States. A lot of y'all saw that movie. Is it Hoodlum? What's the movie that Denzel Washington? It's
American Gangster.
American Gangster. Mm-hmm. If you watch that movie, American Gangster, the part they don't tell you in that movie is that when he went over there to the Asian countries to get to Vietnam to get that dope, they don't tell you that they allowed that to happen. And he didn't. You think a Negro from the South somehow figured out how to go all the way, you understand, to South China in the 60s, where you had to go through the damn jungle and went and somehow created a multi-million-dollar drug trade, and none of the drugs got caught. Nobody got investigated all the way to the very end to some righteous white cop in Harlem. Comes along and he figures out the whole drug scheme. Mobsters, everybody getting the dope from him. No, man, they set that up. They opened up them doors because why? They had to destroy us because we were prospering so much. We was coming up. We was moving to our rightful place. And they had to stop all of that. And it is why you can't never, I don't care how good it gets, you can't never come off of trying to build your nation, man. How you going to, listen, Marcus Garvey said this. Last point, I'm going to let y'all in.
That's right.
Marcus Garvey said, man, how is it that you can't do what other men do?
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey said, are you a nation of imbeciles? How you going to not do what other men did? And then he started naming them. Other men built their nations, came up out of the hell. You can't never stop putting your head towards putting your, like, don't you got an identity too? And listen, and why are there nations? There are nations on this earth out because groups of people have to come together to protect themselves, just like any herd or animal in the jungle. You go to the middle of Africa, you got herds of animals in them Serengetis, and they herded because why? That's how they survive. That's how they live. If they lose some, they got plenty more. If they get attacked, they got plenty to work with. That's how mammals survive. You understand? Very few mammals operate totally by themselves. Mammals work together, and people are the same. They became nations to protect themselves, to protect their land, to protect their food. What happened to us? Everybody did it. Everybody did it except us, because you are the people that otherwise would be slaves if not for Christ.
That's right, sir.
If not for YAHANNA, we would be slaves forever. You understand, TikTok? If not for YAHANNA, we'd be done. And that's why building this kingdom is everything. We should give every ounce of our energy to do it. I know I damn sure do. I feel like I'm just coming out of Hebrew Academy. Like, I'm ready to get marching orders from YAHANNA.
Damn right, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Starting in Chicago, we going to London, we going, you know what I'm saying? We going everywhere the Lord allow to get this work done, because that's how we should take it. Because it's more important than anything. Listen, you having an identity in a nation, how could that not be more important than anything? Like, the very fact that we in poverty in America is not because America doesn't have money. We in poverty in America because you don't have a part of the money in America. That's why. Because you don't control your sports. You don't control your entertainment. You don't control your products. You don't control your agriculture. You don't control your military to protect yourself. You don't control the manufacturing of your clothes. You don't control the manufacturing of the things that you need. You don't even control the manufacturing of the toilet paper that you wipe your behind with. You don't control a damn thing. And because of it, you are in hell. And your sons are dying every day in the streets. Go ahead, General.
And listen, General, we don't control it. And if you start to get that power, getting close to the control, they cut you at the knees. They cut you at the knee. I was watching something on Buffalo Soldiers, how the slaves, when they first start joining the army, it was nothing else to do, nothing really to do. So it felt good to join his army and be able to have a gun and run and train. So they joined the army and became great black people, man, became the Buffalo Soldiers.
Right.
Listen, and that's why Gad fell. They used them Buffalo Soldiers to take Gad down. Killed Geronimo, one of the last threats. Gad was whooping their ass with guerrilla warfare, and they got Judah. They got the Buffalo Soldiers, to catch Gad and destroy Gad. But them Buffalo Soldiers, some of them would get so great, they would be on the verge of becoming general, and then white people would complain and write letters and say, listen, we can't have no niggas be over us like this. And they used to get rid of them cats, discharge them for high blood pressure, for nothing. For nothing. When they won battles, every war we know of, civil war, every damn near small little war, the world wars, those black soldiers that was in the army at that time played very big parts for the major battles that won that war.
Yes.
That they don't bring out. And they took pictures of these black, it was 2 cavalry groups and 2 other groups. It was 4 of them all together that made up all the black groups. And when they would win a big victory, they would take pictures and all that with the white soldiers sometimes, but then they edited out the black part.
Damn.
So the pictures you see for the famous battles, and, Bunker Hill and all them different things, you see the white soldiers standing there. The black people who won it is to the side and edited out. They edited them out.
You telling me, wait a minute, Salag, you telling me Bunker Hill and all that, it was brothers up in them battles and they went and turned around and cut them the hell off out the damn picture. You hear that TikTok we didn't play? That's a rip. Go ahead, General.
If I could back up, General Mayock, the famous picture of George Washington crossing the Delaware. The original is in Congress.
Damn.
And there's black people on the boat.
Damn.
And they cut the black people out of the image that we all see. And you got to go to Congress to see a boat full of black people.
Damn.
Patton had black soldiers were his #1 regiment. And they were with Patton. They were with George Washington. They were with the Battle of Bunker Hill. Yeah. And they just cut them out of the picture. And you have to go to Congress, and you can go Google this right now, of the black people who crossed the Delaware with George Washington that you're not allowed to learn about. And if I could say one thing, this is why it's so stupid and hateful for the IUIC and the Christian church and the Muslims to think that brothers in gangs are the problem with America.
Right.
If you're fighting against gangs, you're fighting 13-year-old boys. Yep. That's who's in a gang. Yep. A 13-year-old child whose father was in prison and whose mother is a stud. That's who you're trying to fight. Those brothers wearing those shiesty masks, you know those masks, sir. Yeah. They can't stop. Some can't stop me for an hour to talk about these masks that these young brothers wear.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm old.
Them black masks that everybody loves, every 13-year-old boy loves. Okay. This brother, I couldn't get to class tonight because he wanted to talk about how those young people in those masks, they shooting a gun to the side, they got their pants sagging. According to him, that's the whole problem with life. Brothers and sisters, the 13-year-old child wearing that mask is not half the criminal as that white man in a suit and a tie. He is not half the murderer of those white people in those suit and those ties. And if you go like the police and beat up every 13-year-old boy wearing the mask, you beat up every brother in Brooklyn or in Harlem on a scooter. If you beat up every brother hanging outside of a store, you will not stop crime at all because the one creating the crime is a politician in the suit and the tie. And you can kill that 13-year-old boy. Yep. Kill a generation of them. There will be new boys tomorrow to commit the same crime because he is starving to death and he has no outlet other than crime, just like white people didn't.
And if I could just add to what you're saying again, like that little boy, though he's been bred into being a criminal, and we're not condoning young criminals, make no mistake, but he is nowhere near as dangerous and as evil as your utility company. Your utility company is sticking you up 10 times
every day.
He's sticking you up for people that's on the other side of the world. You go look at how much money these utility companies making off of black people, poor black people, hundreds of dollars a month off of poor black people that's going to some rich white man in another country that owns stock in this utility. That these same poor people can't even own stock in their own city, which is once again back to what I said about a nation. If you don't have a nation, then guess what? You can't control who robs you for your water. You can't control who robs you for your electricity. You can't control who robs you for your food. You got to take whatever they give you because you don't got no borders to protect. That's why when Nehemiah came out, left Darius and their kingdom and came back to Jerusalem to build Jerusalem up, one of the first things he did was what? Built up the walls and then built up the gates. That's right. And then once he built up the gates, He went to the heathens who was getting rich off of us, just like now. And he told them heathens, he said, y'all don't come in here on the Sabbath no more. You ain't going to be coming in here breaking our laws and trying to make money off of our people. You get the hell up out of here. Like they ripping us off way more than that young brother is trying to rip us off. You know what I'm saying? What should happen is that young brother should be hired to make sure the utility company don't rob you. You know what I mean? Like he should be the one checking the utility company. He should be the one like checking the guy in the meter. Like, hold up, how much you charging for this? Nah, man, you can't charge this, man. You got to lower the rates on that. You understand? You can't charge this. We ain't making Wall Street rich. Even the healthcare system. The healthcare system, Mark, is evil as hell. Of course, we need healthcare. Everybody needs it. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. But, brother, what they doing to black people in this healthcare gangster ripoff that they made mandatory is making Wall Street rich. Like that brother should be the one going down there to Wall Street and telling them, yo, you're charging too much to poor black people. Like the whole reason black men are robbing black people is because they don't have black people hiring them to protect them. Like you would have something if you had black people protecting you. But since you can't hire them, guess what? They rob you in their ignorance. I'm not saying they should, but it's in their ignorance, man. We should have gated communities in the black community. Right. The same cats that would do stick-ups shouldn't even have to do stick-ups. They should be able to carry that gun and be like, nah, y'all can't rob over here. This here is so-and-so gated community. You try to run up in here, man, we're going to handle you just like we would if we was on the street. Like they deserve to eat and live. They deserve to eat and live. Some of these cities, you can't harvest water no more.
That's right.
I couldn't believe it when I read it. I still think it was like, you can't put a barrel outside and let the rainwater come into the barrel.
That's a fact. Because
the utility company got to get the water. They got to charge you for all the water you use. So if you take the rainwater, they losing money. Now tell me that ain't a gangster.
Yeah.
Tell me that ain't a stick-up kid. Like he put a gun to you like, nah, you can't use that water. You got that water coming out the sky. You can't mess with that water. You got to take my water. Like, come on, that's a goddamn rip. Am I wrong? That's a rip, fam. You understand? So what you saying is so right. Like them brothers need to be trained on how to protect us from them. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like how to stop us from them. Go ahead.
And like the control they got. The only difference between criminal and non-criminal is what the oppressor says is legal and not legal. That's all. It's just a decision.
That's it.
We think this is not legal. Big pharmacy companies get billions and billions robbing people for the same drugs that if you sell on the streets, they deem illegal because blacks and Hispanics, that's the trade they give us.
That's all. So if I could, real quick, coming off, what you said was so heavy, because, brother, to this day, I'm still shocked at when they changed the law from illegal to legal with marijuana. Brother, it was, I don't know about anybody else, but I grew up with years of cats selling weed. And when they just decided one day, it became legal. The next thing you knew, white men was on the internet saying CBD oil. It's good. And all of a sudden, weed oil was good for, what was it? Schizophrenia?
Everything.
Right. Like before that, they had all kinds of studies saying that the weed make your brain go bad and this, that. The minute they made it legal, it became good for schizophrenia, dementia. All of a sudden, like you said, every ailment you had, you could get the CBD oil now. Like once again, like you said, brought out, which was so heavy. Y'all should understand that, TikTok, that whatever they decide is legal, it's just, that's what it is. And they decided based on what's good for them, not based on what's good for everybody. That's another reason. You know what they did a study. I watched CNN bring out a study this week, if I could, y'all. And I'm gonna get up off it. CNN came out with a study this week. Do you know that they said that if the United States were to allow 1.4 million immigrants into this country, that it would double the economy of America?
Oh, yeah.
But they said that they will not let them in. They only let in 85,000. And they only let in 85,000 because that is the amount they could absorb and still keep themselves, the white race, in charge of the country. So in other words, they're going to stop America from doubling its economy and everybody making money simply because we can't let them all in. Otherwise, they're going to overthrow it. Canada switched, and Canada said, we're going to let in 1 million people every 3 years because they looked at the same study and they said, we're going to let them in because we want our economy to grow. And so you need people. But the problem is we're not the people they want.
That's right.
If I could, so I was thinking about this today, and that if I could think of what lasting aspect of slavery has never went away, and it can never go away for America to exist. 200 years of slavery taught white people that they are better than us.
That's right.
And you can't have a law, a program in America that doesn't enforce that white people are better than us and this can succeed. It can't.
That's right.
If white people begin to think this thing might mean that we're not better than blacks and Latinos,
right,
that thing is going away.
You don't care what it do.
It doesn't matter if it even helps. Also, to what Commander General YAHANNA was saying earlier about the healthcare system, brother, do you know that a copay? Now, if you've been to the doctor, you know what a copay is. Copays exist because they could not get the law to pass because white people in the South said that black people will take advantage of free health care. So even in Medicare, the only way it could get passed is if they gave a copay because they believe that that would influence black people to not go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. This is a fact. I got a videotape on it. This is a fact, and they proved the law. They've been trying to give Americans free health care since Theodore Roosevelt, but they couldn't do it because it would mean black people would get free health care. So they said, okay, here's their compromise. Compromise is big in American politics. You got to make compromises. You'll have to pay 20% of the fee. They believe that would stop you from going to the doctor. And guess what? It does. That copay that you have to pay in the doctor makes people not go to the doctor. You can't have a thing in America that's not hateful against black people. Now here's my question. What is a gang member supposed to do? The water company is oppressing his mother and father. He's hooking up lights to a light pole for electricity. He has no food and there's lead in the water. Why don't you give him an effing break? Why don't you just understand that this brother is poor and suffering? Why don't you know what you could do? Give us what you gave white people. Then there would be no crime. Give us the trade unions. Pass laws that just give us money like you gave white farmers. Just hand us effing money. Just give it to us. Please, sir.
The land grab.
Gee, man, Christ. The land grab of Oklahoma and the Midwest, where white people were told, go to Oregon and just go grab land. It's called the land grab. And they just got horses and they said, ready, set, go. And white people just ran, grabbed the flag, and they own 47 acres, 200 acres. Why? Because they don't want them to be bank robbers and stick up and rob the stage coaches and become Jesse James, because white people were Jesse James and Billy the Kid. Unless you give them land, give us what you gave to white people. Give us the construction union. Give us the Teamsters union. Give us money, and then there won't be crime. But if you give us money, white people will be angry because white people have to feel that they're better than black people.
I heard a ruling. I heard a comedian bring out how, in the courts, they trying to pass a law that say judges can consider race when they giving judgment because of how unfair and racist the courts have been against blacks and Hispanics. So now when they go to determine sentencing, they can say, well, he black, I can lower his sentence because he black. That's what they say this law is for. I think it's going to go the other way. But the comedian said something heavy. He said, listen, y'all going through all that. Just treat us like you treat white people. Let's get rid of let's determine who he is, what race he is, this and that. Just if you treat everybody like a white person, then everything will be fair. Because that's what they don't do, General. If everybody got treated like Esau, the world will be fair, but America's not built on being fair. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, they have to be the best or it can't be America. You know what I'm saying? So,
and if he was saying the last point, if I could, America could have been amazing in this. They didn't have to bring all these immigrants here. All they had to do was hire us. Instead, they brought the immigrants here and pushed us out, made sure we didn't get a part of this empire. And as a result, all the immigrants is piled in here, eating up everything they can. And of course, we are left on the bottom. Now they want to put us under the Africans. I mean, you can't get much lower than that.
Yikes.
They want to put us now. Now some gorilla is getting ready to be your landlord or be your supervisor on the job. Yeah. Oh my God. Your woman gonna have to now go to work with some cat that look like, if you have a baby and the baby come out and the head look funny, you're gonna have to question. Baby, what was you doing them late nights at work over there? You don't have to question. I'm talking about brothers in the world,
of course.
Not up in here. You know what I mean? When I say those type of things, y'all, I'm talking about people in the world. You're gonna have to question it because them Africans is now gonna be over your woman. They once again, like this thing don't never change. They turn around and do the same thing again, and then run you out, steal everything you have, wipe out your neighborhood, push you in the ground. And the only way out of this, man, is to learn what Christ taught us and all the prophets taught us about being in captivity and coming out of captivity. Like those brothers that wrote these records called the Bible, all had to deal with the other nations, and in most cases had to deal with the other nations from a position of slavery. And they had to figure out through the Lord what to do to both free their people, protect their people, feed their people. They all had to do it from Moses right on up to Christ. Yeah. And Christ gave us the best strategy of all. And if we carry those things out, we will actually build something. But the Lord is righteous in this. He don't give away the greatest positions on the earth for nothing. You got to work for them positions.
That's right.
You got to be committed to those positions. You ain't getting the kingdom of heaven because you hanging around. You getting the kingdom of heaven because you willing to work hard for it and make it happen. That's when you will get the kingdom of heaven, man. You know what I mean? So we ain't get to know story. We done put your diet to sleep. We done put your diet to sleep. Y'all, I don't know what y'all started something. Got us all running in it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
The brother sent me a text in South Carolina and said that in South Carolina, if your water gets cut off, the child services takes your children.
God damn. A network. And I didn't know that the state, I never knew that the state gets a piece of the child support money. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which means they encourage, right? They encourage to get as much child support money as they can because they getting a piece of it. Like everything is enslaving us. Like once again, in your nation, that would not happen. Right. You would be like, no, that's not just. But of course, not only do Esau do it, he don't even tell you he's doing it. He rob you and then don't even tell you I'm gonna lock you up for child support because if I can get you to pay, that means we get some of this money up here among these judges. And I heard that the money goes to some fund that the judges deal with. Yeah, which is, come on, man, that's a gangster rip. It's a straight up gangster rip, and that's what's going on. And what happens is it makes a young man think to himself that he got to now, become like that. Like he puts his spirit becomes like an animal. Like he ain't stupid. He watching you do these evil things. And then he say to himself, I don't want to be a victim like my mother and father. I don't want to take the nice, good route while they all rip me off from every little, I want to cut the shortcut. I want to become violent to cut short and get my way straight to that's why the term the bag is real popular. That's why everybody think now the bag, not work for fun, but how to get the bag, meaning how to get that cash that you otherwise would not get. And it's going into black people's psyche because they see how much Esau has been robbed. The internet then educated people so well on how many ways this man has been robbing.
That's it. Yes, sir.
And so it's destroying them brothers, man.
Yes, sir.
Haas, man, what's going on with them purple faggots, man? Oh, I'm sorry. You was going to add something.
Yeah, General, they do the same thing with traffic court.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic court, when you get a ticket, they tell you to take a deal because when they take a deal, half the money stays in the Commonwealth, half goes to the state. that they push you to take a deal, take a plea, or take a deal because they keep half that money and the rest go to the state, which is what they do in traffic court. So you take a deal, and you take that deal, half the money stays in Philly, other half go to the state of Pennsylvania.
Right. Like they go ahead.
I just touch on what you were just talking about too. Also with how like the so-called immigrants don't have no alternative to do certain things, and just like black people, don't have the alternative because we being ripped and robbed and raped, and so we turn to the worst things that they herd us into those directions. My brother-in-law told me years ago that him and his brother Benjamin, he said they come over here and Esau set them up with programs where they get little work permits and ID cards. But he said them cards ain't all the way legal, but it's legal enough where they can get little BS jobs and do this and that. And so they saw where it wasn't really sustaining them and it was getting ripped, you know what I'm saying? And so they turned to the drugs because I opposed. I said, man, why are your whole family selling dope, Mike? You know what I'm saying? I said, why? I said, there's no other way. And he went on into it. So we damn near got no choice because if we try to sustain ourselves with these jobs and complain with the little crap that they give us, they come against us and then probably take the card, take the permit, send us back. You know what I mean? They oppress them. So they turn to hustling. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like no choice.
Exactly. Which is so crazy. If I could, which is so crazy in this respect. They live on a Caribbean island, and if you've ever had a vacation on a Caribbean island, ain't nobody want to leave one of them islands.
Forget about it.
You got nothing but open land. You know what I mean? Blue waters, tropical fruit. Why would you want to leave there? You have to leave there because they starving that island to death.
Yep.
That's why you got to leave there. You got to leave there because they starving the place to death. And then you get here, like you saying, and then he's blamed like he's wicked for coming here and selling drugs. Once again, we ain't condoning selling drugs, but you blame for coming here and selling drugs when you come in here in the first place because they starving your country out. And then you get here and they starving you out again. It's damn near like you got to accept your position on the bottom. You understand? And here's the sad part. They purposely do not report on all of the exact same things that happens to Asians and other white immigrants. You got white immigrants over here, brother, running more scams and more ripoffs and selling more drugs than ever before. The Russians,
the Ukrainians,
for sure. Everybody know about the Ukrainian drug dealers. Like all of that, all of those things are going on. And meanwhile, that never makes the news. But you are made out, if you black or Benjamite or West Indian, you made out to be like another one of those black criminals or another one of those Latino criminals. Listen, we must turn around and serve the law. Officer Mawasar said 75% out of every dollar goes to the government. Insane. Insane. I lost the feed on this one up. You understand? Huh? Yeah, they cut me. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. You know what I mean? Salaki. So we ain't getting to stories, I guess. We
got half an hour if you want. That's how can do his thing.
We can jump in with some purple.
Well, yeah, I mean, I got some purple stuff, set up. Yeah,
I want to hear about it.
Okay.
I ain't letting the purple get away with nothing. All this shit got coming out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Every bit of it.
Now, Mariah, you got one I sent you where it says General Bishop. What I did was I just downloaded that text the picture. Right? I want to talk about this here. You know what I mean? Because they left the I.S.U.P.K. and complained about the I.S.U.P.K. Different things going on, and now trying to mimic and copy the I.S.U.P.K. But they ranked stuff, in the IUIC, they got soldiers, officers 10, and whatever else come after that. They got captains and deacons or bishops and deacons, right? Same thing the red and white cats did. Same principle. Same concept. And where do they all get this from, sir? I want to know where they all get this concept of doing these things there, man.
Right.
They got it from the I.S.U.P.K.
And giving women rank is so gay.
That's another thing that I want to bring up. They give just like how they did in the red and white cat, they gave women rank. They're doing the same thing in IUIC.
Yeah. That's so gay.
You know what I mean? Can you find it the text I sent you, Mariah?
That's such a gay thing.
You got it? Because, okay, now, what y'all need to understand, right? The whole reason why we call Commander YAHANNA Commander General, because he had that rank given to him by the four heads. He ain't take that rank for himself. He didn't say, okay, well, you know, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to name myself. He was given his rank. You know what I mean? No, not that one, brother. Keep on going. Not that one. He was given that rank. No, keep going down, brother. I sent it to you on the on WhatsApp. Like, he was given that rank from the heads. Not one he appointed himself. Not one the people gave him. But the men above him gave him that rank. So now I ask you, and I ask you in the IUIC, how do you name a man a general bishop? How do you give him that rank? That was come from men above him. Every time he got with a group, it was under men, he left. He left. He left the I.S.U.P.K. He left the House of David. He left the, whatever the other group was. You know what I mean? Left GMS. And now started his own group where he named and made himself a general bishop. You know what I mean? Where he named himself and made himself a general bishop.
Can I give you a prophecy, Haas?
Yes, sir.
It's really not a prophecy. It's just understanding human nature. When he feels really good about himself, he'll make himself an apostle. Yeah, they all do that. They all make themselves apostle, a Reverend T.J. Hooker, apostle. And some of them so ignorant, they call themselves apostles because they so ignorant. Apostle Gino Jennings, apostolic. When they feel really, when it's like, it's going to come a time when bishop is not going to sound like it got enough authority. And so the same way he made himself a bishop, before you know it, the apostle Nathaniel is coming. That'll be in a second.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Just sit back and wait.
Yeah. Cool. And once again, they talk about us, right, gentlemen? They say about we XYZ, right? And we this, that, and other. But you are mimicking what we're doing. Like Commander YAHANNA upheld what he was taught by the seven heads, what they gave him, and he kept it. That's why we got the rank structure. That's where it come from. But according to y'all, we refurbished. Like, we ain't the real thing. We just like a refurbished version of the real thing. Yet still you biting and copying off the real thing. Like, make that make sense to me, son. Like, I want to know how that makes sense. How it makes sense when you doing that. Like, make it make sense to me. I'm trying to understand it. I want to know. Make it make sense. I just sent it to you again, Mariah. You know what I mean? On WhatsApp. Make it make sense to me, man. Because to me, it ain't making sense. And I don't get this head. You know what I mean? Cat is going to make himself what it say? The General Bishop Nathaniel 7. Kidding me? He's the General Bishop Nathaniel 7. Like, I don't get that part there, sir.
He might decide to call himself the God Sent Comforter.
Oh, Lord.
That might be coming up next. Go ahead, Salag.
General, I was doing a little bit of research on him, right?
Yeah.
Watching some of his interviews so I can do a class on it. And as he was talking, it got real irritating. I was like, why do it sound like that? And it came to the conclusion that this brother sounds like a pastor when he talks.
Yeah.
Even when he teaching, he sounds like literally like a pastor.
Yeah, and that, you know, that's a fake voice. He don't sound like that. It's fake. It's a fake voice. Wow. He's acting like any undercover cop or detective or you know, man, he's, you know, and the Lord, listen to this, and the Lord, like he went and studied some pastor, you know what I mean, learned how to talk, mimic the pastor. They watched the tape, mimic the pastor. Then he went and looked at ICGJC, and he then mimicked how they structured their organization in terms of the uniforms, the rank system, like you brought out, all of that. Same thing. Once again, no originality. And that's how you got what you got here. And it was failing, which is why they reaching out to the Africans. Because, I mean, you give an African a green card, he'll eat your foot. If you tell him. Literally. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he'll eat your foot. Oh, he took the woman king's hairstyle out. Okay. Okay, he went. He fixed that joint. What a clown. And so that's what you seeing. That is not his voice. I mean, like I said, I was around him in the early 90s. The boy did not sound like that. You know what I mean? And quite a few of them out there do that. Try to change their voice and try to be something else. When even to do that is to not understand what you're dealing with. Like, this is not, a game. This is not church. This is not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not putting on no airs. I'm going to be exactly how I was. If you run into me right now, you're going to meet the same guy you met in the 90s. You'll be the same guy, maybe a little milder version. You know what I'm saying? But I'm the same damn dude. I'm not trying to be something fake, you know what I mean? Like, they think that you have to be this way because they're not led by the Most High. They're led by the desire of success. Right. And since they're led by that, they build a church that way. When that's not the way the Lord works. He never worked that way. You go back and read them scriptures, them prophets were in some of the worst precarious situations. And the scripture says also, get me right on this, y'all, condescend to men of low estate. Does it not say that? You got to be relatable, man, to brothers on the ground. These cats are trying to do what everybody else. And Christ, get me right on this. Christ came back and said, the leaders of these nations, I'm paraphrasing, practice benefactors.
Mm-hmm.
Benefactors, meaning they sit in high seats. They get recognized as special people. They get, all the honor and accolades of being somebody. At the end of the day, man, if the Lord ain't with you, I don't give a damn what you call yourself. You could be the big Mahat of Mahatism. Who gives a damn if God ain't with you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No respect the person.
God, like, you got to be, somebody, right? No respect the person. Like, you got to be real with this truth. You don't be real with this truth, it'll prove you out. Like, the Lord will put you in that position and it will wash you the hell out. You understand? And furthermore, when you real with this truth, then guess what? The work, then you yourself can see the Lord's work. Like cats like him do stupid things because they believe that they are the ones doing it. Like, they're walking around talking a certain way for success and trying to convince you to look at this scripture because you see this is what God is talking about. When really he's performing. Yeah. And that performance is what makes him think he's successful. When if you be real, then guess what? You won't be able to take no glory. Then guess who will get the glory? The one who's supposed to get the glory. The Most High. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, not you and your phony voice. This guy's a clown, man. You know what I'm saying? A Muppet, yeah.
Right here, somebody's told him to stand like a man in this picture. Somebody says, show me your best man.
Yes.
Yeah,
you're right.
I'm a man.
You know what I'm saying? You're right. That's exactly 100% true. So, yeah, that's why. And once again, they don't know what they're doing. And worse than that, what's worse about that organization. They don't have a real system of operation. That's why Jordan Morgan is dead. That's why Tazariak had to have that interview with that brother that almost lost his life. That's why people are shooting at these clowns all the time. It's why they got out of pocket and mishandled our brothers in Kansas City. Big shout out to the Golga Bar and all the brothers in KC. You understand? Like, that's why all these things have happened. These things have happened because you got men who are, untrained, untaught, unproperly organized, and allowed to float into their own carnality. Like that old Big Frida, that he's totally carnal. He's a Bill Street bully one day. He's a dancing queen the next day. Like, he's floating in, any lust or whatever he's feeling at the time, he's able to go into. And that's not the Lord. The Lord don't work like that. The Lord is rigid with his rules and regulations. He's rigid with his laws. You have to be rigid if you're going to serve the Lord. Otherwise, you're playing. And you're playing with something so big. We talking about the biggest biblical event before the kingdom of heaven.
Right.
Like, if you really understood what the hell you reading, you would know that you are involved in the biggest biblical event that's about to take place on the face of this earth. Like, you involved in an event that's bigger than the event that took place with Moses parting the Red Sea and walking Israel out of Egypt. This is bigger. This is going to be written in the records greater. And if you just a carnal ass sodomite like him, then of course you'll never understand that. To you, it's all a game. You know what I'm saying? And you just putting your best foot forward to accomplish what you think you can accomplish, but it's not real to you. But it is a real thing to the Lord. And you're going to see the results of it, and it ain't going to be pretty. Okay?
If I could, sir, one more thing about this here. You know how the Lord don't think about your numbers. Look at Gideon. Look at King David when he went to try to number the children of Israel, and the Lord punished him for that. These cats don't have the spirit of the Lord. They weren't all they talk about their numbers. I bet you can't put 300 men together to go march somewhere. I bet you can't do this. What is that going to do? And show me in the Bible where the Lord cared about putting together numbers to march.
Listen,
you show me in the scripture where it says.
And don't take away, Haas. We surely could do it.
Yeah,
you know, man. Can. Like I don't want them to like sometimes like I ain't letting them off the hook with that. They act like you can't put 300 men. Oh, we could put 300. We could put 5 if you like, but we just not that carnal. And 4 brothers done shame the hell out of you anyway. You rolled on 4 brothers, and 4 brothers shame the hell out of you. Once again, you don't understand the strategy of the Lord. You just carnal and stupid. Like you got a cop strategy, like you brought out earlier when we first came on. Like you got the state trooper strategy. That's what's going on there. So let's keep them in the news. Let everybody know, man. You don't want to be psyoped by the goddamn New York City Police Department, allegedly. Then you better get away from these slime ball cops. You understand? To take on and to show you how great being an Israelite is. Because they could have been Muslims. They could have been all those things. Instead, they chose to create a fake Israelite group to destroy all Israelites. You ain't destroying the I.S.U.P.K, man. You can forget about it.
If I could, before you go on. And if I could, and the IUIC, instead of getting tough with gang members, and instead of marching on gang members, you might want to get tough with that man who molested Nathaniel 7. Yeah. Get tough with him. Yeah. A lot of you brothers out there, like in the IUIC, you have mental problems, namely Nate, because Nate was molested by a man when he was young. That's why and then he went on to have gay relationships with men in his teenage years. Yeah. Before he became a cop, he had gay relationships with men. When I say relationships, I mean simply making mistakes and having sex with them. And because he never got them arrested, because the man who molested Nate, he never pressed charges. He never told anybody. Now he has to make up for it with getting tough with O Block and marching on people so he can find a way to gain his manhood back after he had a penis in his mouth. Right. Nathaniel 7 has had a penis in his mouth, multiple penises in his mouth. But now he found Jesus. Now he found God, and now he wants to be a man now. So what does he do? Now he gets tough. You know what Nate is like a stud or a bull dagger. In my day, that's what we called them, sir. Yeah. Bull daggers. They've been molested by men, right? Raped by men. So what do they have to do now? Now they're tough. Now they wear strap-ons and do-rags because they're compensating for being little girls who got raped. Nathaniel, Bishop General Apostle, Nate, has sucked a penis. It's been in his mouth, a penis. And then he was... Salakia, I apologize.
You'll get us kicked off.
I don't mean to say that. Nate has performed fellatio. Nate has had fellatio. No, not even fellatio. Nate has given men nighttime happiness. Nighttime happy. Please, sir.
No, I was just going to add to what you were saying when you finished.
Okay, Nate has given men nighttime happiness. Why? Because he was violated. Come on, you die. He was violated as a child. Yeah. He never got that man arrested. No. Guess what Nate became? A cop. Yeah. He became a cop. He marches men around because we're tough. We're tough. We're so tough. We're tough. We're tough. You weren't tough with that man whose penis that you pleasured. Whose male member?
Yes.
Whose male member you abused?
Was abused by.
You got some abuse.
Right.
That's for damn sure. You weren't tough with him.
And if I could, real quick, Mom, a lot of victims of molestation become law enforcement officers. It's like a way for them to protect themselves and a way to get revenge on the predators that moved on them.
That's it.
But the problem is they also gain an insensitivity to the criminals that they have to arrest. Like now you have no empathy for that brother that you arresting. Why? Because you know that in somewhere inside you feel like he is the one that victimized you. And this is your chance to get him back. That's why he locked up so many brothers illegally, and they had to have lawyers to fight to get him out of jail. Some of them brothers spent 6 months, a year in prison.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? Lost their lives, their careers, their education, all of their future, lost it all simply because, they moved, with a lawyer to fight against him. And of course, he didn't cut them loose or drop the case. So they were stuck for 6 months to a year waiting to get, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exonerated. And that's why, because that cat right there don't have no empathy. No. You know what I mean? That's why his organization can run. Like, you think he cares that Joy Morgan is dead? He done seen 1,000 dead bodies being a detective. You think he cares that they beat the hell up out of that brother and almost killed him? He's seen a lot of criminal activity. You know, man, you think he cares about any of them things, man? He could care less about none of that, because that's not how they think. He cares about one thing, is that's pleasing them bosses and making sure that IUIC destroys every Israelite group. That's why the minute they passed him the intel, Commander General YAHANNA and I.S.U.P.K is going to be in Chicago the weekend of the 28th. The first thing they did was organize their men and have a march in Chicago, try to bring a presence in Chicago. And they moved on them brothers in Kansas City because they were sent to move on them brothers.
That's right.
They were sent to try and create a conflict because, of course, we've been unstoppable. And they know it. So,
if I can say, how, this is the last one.
Yes, sir, go get down.
This goes to what you was bringing out earlier, to back up what Commander General YAHANNA said. And I know that the way that the I.S.U.P.K moves is so strange to you molested, closeted LGBT members in the purple group in the IUIC.
Yeah.
But if Commander General YAHANNA, you speak, we could put 400 men in front of your house.
We could put 500.
We could put 500 men at all of your schools. We could put 500 men in front of your door.
Right.
We could do that tomorrow.
Sure.
And unlike your men, our men are prepared to die and kill.
That's
all
right.
of our men.
Goddamn
We
right.
could be at your house.
You best believe that.
Please don't. And what we do is seem strange to you, but this is why we do it, because the Most High God said, "The Lord saveth not with the multitude of sinners.
Right.
The Most High saveth not with sword and spear, but it is Yahweh, the Most High God, giveth the victory." And because of that, we don't use our violent potential on you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have far more violent potential than the IUIC.
Yes, sir.
Our men are not cops and choir boys. Our men are gangsters. Do you understand? That's who we are. That's who we always have been. We're gangsters who have been given a purpose, who have been given another path. Please believe it, we could bring you more violence than you could ever imagine. And we still do not. Why? Because God said, "Vengeance is mine,
Right.
saith Yahweh.
Damn right.
I will repay."
Damn
That's
right.
in the Bible.
Damn right.
And quite frankly, y'all not even worth it. Quite frankly, y'all here today gonna be gone tomorrow, like the goddamn wind.
Yeah.
Oh, I see they put the black ops in here. Still hating your IUIC brothers.
Yes.
That is weak. Grow up.
Yes.
You IUIC black ops officers are vile as you could be, because what you did to them brothers in Kansas City, God is punishing you. And I heard one of they men, didn't we discuss one of their men got shot the other night, right?
Yeah.
In Kansas City.
I heard something about
You
that.
have more curses from the Lord to come, man. Drop dead IUIC. Every last one of you low lights.
And go find that man that molested Nate. I say you are. You talk about us all the time.
Yeah.
We're so hateful.
Damn
Nate
right.
sucked the man's private member.
Right.
So you ain't mad at him. You mad at us because we speak about the evil of every false prophet. We don't treat Nate any different than we treat Creflo Dollar or every corner neighborhood preacher on the planet.
That's right.
We don't treat him any different. But you know that your Nate was molested by a man, and you're not looking for him. He's probably still around. He's probably sitting somewhere in Brooklyn. Sitting somewhere, he's probably a preacher.
And
I think he's a preacher.
Probably is.
He's probably Nate's
Damn,
preacher
you hit it
that
on
he
the
went
mark.
to church
Yeah,
with.
he probably communion.
Communion. And that man is still there. Nate has never pressed charges on him. Nate has never told you brothers to circle his church.
Right.
And Nate performed nighttime pleasures on that man.
That's right.
And you're mad at the UPK because we treat Nate like we treat every other false prophet. Let me ask you a question, IUIC members in the chat. What have you done to get revenge on the man who Nate was having pleasures with?
And if you really cared about Nate, why are you letting these little gay boys join IUIC? You know it's gonna bring up the lust in Nate. You know Nate ain't gonna be able to control himself.
How
Like,
can
if
he?
you
I
ca-
mean,
right, if you
he's
care-
weak to it.
Right. If you care about Nate, why you got these little gay boys coming up in there in the IUIC?
Sending dick pics.
You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with you? I thought you cared about the man. You know the man gonna love you. You saw him come in there on the horse with the nightingale outfit on. You understand? You know him. You saw him come up in there. You saw the cats up there telling him, "We love you. I love you." And he, oh no! Don't let it out. Don't let them know what's going on in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, you got a sick puppy up in there that you dealing with. Haas, come on, give me what
Can I
you
say one more thing?
No, y'all go ahead, Mike. I think General has something to say.
I was just gonna say, listen, they marched on that brother that was in the back of the police car and chastised him for stealing the radio, right? Why don't you march on that pastor who put those manly organs into Bishop Nathaniel's mouth all those multiple times? Get justice for him. At least scream at him and say you was wrong for doing this to our bishop when he was younger.
Right.
You was wrong for all them dark nights and sweaty nights and abusing our pastor, our bishop. You was wrong. March on them.
And why? And how you gonna let Big Frida be in there snapping her neck back like that? How you gonna do that? Now you know the man done been molested. You know the man got a history of, See, y'all done got me cut off again. Y'all messing me up. Y'all getting me messed up in here, man. Is this? This ain't right. Y'all got. You understand? Like, how you gonna? This ain't right. You know the man got sexual proclivities that are not normal. Why would you turn around and have Big Frida in there snapping her neck back and all that? But dancing.
It's a stumbling.
You know what I mean? Like that man battling, dancing in there. That was a straight up, gay. That's like you across the room. Like you do with a woman. You know what I mean? Yes.
It was a dance of seduction.
Yes. And the cat in the white, he went. He went through the hands up like I'll be the woman. You can be the man. I'll be the woman. Like, y'all gotta stop that, man.
It's a concept. #justice for Nasty Nate.
Come on, gentlemen. That's what I'm talking about. Who said that? Because that's a movement I can get behind. You can't let that preacher out there and nothing happen to him. Circle his church. Go get you. Do you know there's a lot of women, Nate? Is Nate, you listening out there? Nate, there are a lot of women who have been victims of being violated by preachers, and they confront their preacher, and they do it live and they videotape it.
Yes,
there are
they do.
videos like this all over YouTube. Nate,
Me Too.
it's Me Too movement. Nate should be part of the Me Too movement. Nate has to go and confront the man that violated him in a sexual way, in a intimate way. They had some intimacy with men, and it was not. He did not want to do it.
It was not consensual.
It was not consensual.
Right.
And if the Me Too movement has any power, Nate should become part of the Me Too movement. And Nate should go and confront his intimate violator and put it on video. And then that way that man could pay for it. And Nate, it would be a time of healing for Nate. Then Nate could be healed from it. He could feel like a man finally, because his violator can now have the repercussions of violating him. Me Too movement for Nate. Nate needs justice for Nate. Justice for what happened to Nate privately when he trusted that man of God. That man of God, Nate trusted him. Nate was seeking the Lord because of his mother. Nate had a very aggressive mother, a mother who was dominant. He had a mother that was dominant, and he looked to those people in that church to be his male role models. And they violated him in an intimate way. And those men should pay for it. They should be shamed on social media so that Nate can be healed. And if you're a loyal member of the IUIC, I don't know why you aren't standing with Commander General YAHANNA to get justice for Nate, to get justice for the afflicted, intimate violation that he suffered as a child. I don't know why you don't love him enough to give him justice. Circle that church that Nate was violated in as a child. They said, name the pastor. Put his name on social media.
They said Pastor Ricky Rush,
damn, that's
out of Dallas, has been violating men and women for 30 years.
Let me tell you something.
And he's still preaching.
Whoever did that wants justice for those people.
Yeah.
Because Nate will not tell you the name of his intimate violator.
That's right.
And that man is violating more children. He's been violating children for 30 years, probably. Yeah. And Nate said nothing about it. But someone on this chat room had the bravery. What's his name again, sir? Ricky what?
Let me get it right.
Salakia.
Ricky Rush, Pastor Ricky Rush.
Allegedly, Pastor Ricky Rush has been intimately violating people in Texas. Allegedly. And you should go investigate.
For 30 years.
For 30 years. Wow. But no one will say anything. You know what? Please, sir.
Sorry to cut you off, General, real quick. I want to just add, and when you are a victim of molestation, if you don't get to confront that molestation, then you take that violence, you take that revenge out on whomever you can. That's why so many gay and lesbian relationships have so much domestic violence in them. They got domestic violence in them because a lot of times one or both parties are in that LGBTQ relationship is a victim of some molestation that they were never able to, confront. So now they have a extra sensitivity to being mishandled by another person, which makes them more violent or more prone to violence and more prone to taking revenge. Nate took his revenge by becoming a police officer and mishandling black men who were in his custody or under his arrest or under his suspicion. But many other people do it by direct violence. Yeah. And that's something that he could have spent all this time stopping. He could have did what big shout out to Captain Tazaryak did. Captain Tazaryak, man, brought them brothers center stage down there in Harlem who had been molested allegedly by Africa Bambaataa and others. That's right. He brought it all the way out and let them brothers bring their piece out, him and Sonetta. And they brought that thing out and they gave them brothers some space to lay out what happened to them and to heal from what they had been through. And as a result, they were able to, somewhat get past what happened to them. But that's not the case with Nate. Like, you bring it out. Yeah. And he needs to, get his act together on it. Yeah, right. But I want to let Haas get in before we end. Because we got one.
I'm done, sir.
Okay, to what?
I want to
bring out one more point, and then we're going to get out of here.
Yes, I want to bring out one more thing about Nate. You know what you were saying about Nate dealing with men he locked up. He did a show where he was mocking brothers he locked up. He mocking them. Like, he's mocking them. Mariah got a clip. He's mocking them, the ones he got locked up. You understand? Talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, that show no compassion for your brothers. You know what I mean? Which is evil as hell, man. They already done. They in hell. I remember when I locked cats up and it was like, damn, this cat got locked up again, especially when I learned the truth. And when I left, I had the DA's office calling me, the Philly ADA's office calling me. I had a corporal calling me. You got court cases. You got court. That's like, I can't come. You got to call my lawyer. And then the ADA called me directly. He was calling me. I said, listen, I understand. you know, because I had a couple good cases. So I said, listen, this is my lawyer's name. This is his phone number. You have to call him. Please don't call me no more about my court cases. And it stopped. But this cat here was mocking him, talking about him. And to me, it was like, okay, them brothers, without a cop being the one, if you lock somebody up and you can't show for the court case, there is no case. So the brother gets a second chance at life. You understand what I'm saying? He get a second chance to get out here and be productive in life. And I thought about that as I was sitting home, like, damn, these brothers, I hope they did the right thing. They all got shots and changed their life and getting, you know, change life around. Right. So I was hopeful about that.
Damn right.
Now, but this tape here, this cat Nate, mocking him.
Hey, Gresha Brown had a good statement. Hurt people, hurt people.
Shalom.
Perfect statement. Perfect.
Mariah, play it.
And you know what's funny? Now, I'm such a coward. I'm thinking, oh, he's a coward. I sit down with killers and talk with real killers. And a lot of times, real killers break down when they realize they got caught and busted. You see the come out, right? I can't call my mama out. Confess, let me call my mama first. Here's the phone, brother. You a big killer. You rough, brother. All that muscles and fat all over the place. Don't get impressed by that.
And Bishop.
Yes.
All right, he's sick.
And you know what?
That's a sicko right there.
Jesus.
That's a sick. That's who y'all put in charge of trying to save black people. A cat that mocked black people.
Sir, the nigga said, busted. That is your bishop. Busted. And he turned to busted.
Play it again, Mariah. Mariah, play it again. I gotta hear that part.
The real him. He was acting like the murderer.
That was the right. That was yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. No, go ahead.
You
right. You right. It slipped out. It went over my head. I gotta watch it again. Han. Play it again.
Break down when they realize they got caught and busted.
God,
caught and busted.
Why he said it in his ear? Nasty. Why did he say it to him? Like, who is that guy? Why did he say it to him?
And did he flame? I think the other guy did a little flame.
Okay, not enough. Like, you get that close. It's supposed to be a little like. He did not. He said it like it was his woman. Like, who is that? Who is this guy right here?
I don't know.
Like, it's something. Wait, Mariah, back it up. Play that part again.
If I could, that's a cat that was talking about Michelle, like how Michelle was for the community. That's it.
Yeah.
If I could, like, before he plays it, sir, you see how he said y'all try to call me a coward?
Right.
He said at the beginning because he knows that we're calling him a coward because he is a coward. So he's saying y'all want to call me a coward, but I sit up with the killers. And you know when they start crying and busted.
And he's lying about that because first of all, he was never a homicide detective.
Oh, right.
This cat,
he was
this
a
is
third grade detective.
He's a burglary detective.
There you go.
So you sitting with kids. That's why he's saying, "Can I call my mother?"
Yes,
because it's a child.
That's a 13-year-old boy.
Yes,
he's talking to
a
and
child.
And he's saying real killers because they just tough guys to him.
Yes, or pretending to be tough guys, which most kids are pretending until they become a tough guy.
A grown man calls his lawyer. The person he's arresting is calling his mother because he's arresting a 13-year-old boy and laughing at him and saying, busted.
Come on.
Nah, caught you.
Mommy, they're going to make a meme out of you.
That is who you follow. Him.
Rob, please play the tape again. One more time. This is crazy.
And you know what's funny? Now, I'm such a coward. I'm thinking, oh, he's a coward. I sit down with killers and talk with real killers. And a lot of times, real killers break down when they realize they got caught and busted. You see the come out, right? I can't call my mama out. Confess, let me call my mama first. Here's the phone, brother. You a big killer. You rough, brother. All that muscles and fat all over the place. Don't get impressed by that.
And Bishop.
Yes.
He was being a real lady that night. He was being a real lady that night. Oh man, we gotta get up out of here, man.
And I got another one. This one here is about that brother. Remember the one who said, the hell with Trayvon Martin, the hell with Trayvon Martin. I got an article where they were saying he got busted for adultery. He got suspended for committing adultery.
Oh, get out.
Why you don't see him no more.
Throw him up. You got, okay.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that cat.
Yeah,
cares about Trayvon.
Go ahead and play it again, right from the beginning.
Martin. Trayvon Martin, who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin? Who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin? Trayvon Martin, who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin? Who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin? Trayvon Martin, who the hell cares about?
So we're for it. We're for stopping prison. We're for cops in the hood. We're all for it.
Bring more of them.
So we're for it. We're for stopping prison. We're for cops in the hood. We're all for it.
Bring more.
Like these dudes hate the people that they talking to.
Yeah.
Like they hate the people they talking to. You know what I'm saying? Like that is crazy. All right, go ahead, Aslan.
When you if you can make it a little bit bigger, Mariah, if possible, when you read it, it tells you about how he got busted for adultery and how if you're a deacon or bishop, if you're bishop, deacon, captain, maybe almost to a certain rank, you get suspended, not put out. Everybody else get put out of school. So they have restricted persons for them.
And it's so dumb in this that all they gonna do is do exactly what Jakes in the world do. They be scared to not let a woman know they got another woman. So they're going to go out there and sneak around and sleep with any trash they can find out there. And they're going to throw her away and run back into IUIC and act like they don't have another woman until a woman go through the phone, because that's who's telling on all of them. Everyone that get busted is your woman telling on. You know what I'm saying? And then your woman find out you do have another woman. So then she tell on you, and then you get busted or thrown out or whatever the case might be, which is the dumbest thing in the world. It's like you trying to make men do exactly what Esau in the world tries to make men do, which is what makes them subservient under women. Anytime you a grown-ass man, you know what I mean? Once you hit the age of adulthood, you're a grown-ass man. And what you do with your body is your consequences. And you should stand on what it is that you do with yourself. Otherwise, you are worse than a slave. You are a slave to a slave woman. Now you're going to have to be able to fight past that and be able to just start out as who you are. And that's something that they make, in other words, now in essence, which is so gay. In essence, when you join the IUIC, then your woman has power over you having another woman. And if she catch you having another woman, she got the power in the IUIC the same way Esau got in the child support court.
That's it.
Or the same way Esau got in any group or organization or job or wherever, where they say you can't have a relationship with other members on the job. They got tons of jobs like that, saying you can't be involved in the relationship. If you do, one of you have to quit or we'll fire both of you. There's tons of companies like that. So they got the same power over you that she has. And in essence, they empowering women over men, which is a joke, which is like a joke when it comes to the Bible. It's a laughing stock when it comes to the Bible. And here's the thing. Near none of the IUIC members is not out screwing other women. Like they talking about them women is calling the UPK like crazy. They calling the UPK like crazy because they all, you understand, running around with other women. And then here's what's worse. Instead of them marrying another sister and being involved in her in a serious relationship, they are doing exactly what brothers is doing in the world. They with a woman and they out there sleeping around and hiding what they're doing. That's why Joy Morgan is dead because of that rule.
That's right.
She's dead right now today because of that rule. And then some of them is so bad, they probably love that rule because some of them is sleeping with other men and women. And so they really love the rule because it means they can hide it all now. You know what I mean? It's like you got to hide it now. So you can get to hide it and run out. And that's why they be filling the clubs up. They even said it. Some of their women will say it, that after a certain hour on the weekend, They all up in the club. And I'm like, why are they in the club when they got wives at home and they can only have one wife? They up in the club chasing down every rat ass piece of dog meat that's sitting up in that club that nobody else wants. And they running them down so ravenously. That's what the cat was telling Tazariak also on that videotape. Remember, he was saying we was gonna all go out.
Yeah,
we was gonna all, and he himself said, "Yeah, I'm just working with 2 right now."
That's what he said.
He's supposed to have been an IUIC man, but he said, "I'm working with 2." So they all are doing it. They all sleeping around now. But Nate is just like any detective. If I don't catch you, you all right. But if you get caught, you got to pay the piper. That's how a detective thinks. Why? Because he can't make you do it because he don't have the Holy Spirit. So all he can do is enforce the laws that he's able to enforce. So if he can enforce the law on you, he'll do it. If he can't enforce the law on you, he'll ignore it until he can enforce the law. That's not how the I.S.U.P.K works. Right. We are built on the morals of the Most High. And we put these rules, and that was the whole point of Christ dying, so that we could put this inside you, so that you would live by these rules, so that you would stand on these rules. Not for somebody to have to police you for you to stand on these rules, but for you to understand that by following these rules that Christ laid down to us, we go and build the kingdom of heaven and we get something special. But that's not what goes on in there. That's why you can have men be gay and this and that, because all they have to do is not get caught.
That's it.
They, in essence, get to be little boys, because that's really what gay men like anyway. So, and that's how a little boy thinks. A little boy thinks, if I don't get caught by mommy, I'm all right. I'll sneak a cookie because I know mommy sleeps late. Until mommy gets up early one morning and catches you eating the cookie, and then you got caught and you get a beating and you mad because you got a beating. You're not mad because you did something wrong. You mad because mommy punished you for what you did. And that's different than the little boy that gets up in the morning and says, boy, I want one of them cookies. But mommy said the rule says we don't eat those cookies before lunchtime. So I'm going to, since I love mommy, I'm going to not eat those cookies. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to not eat those cookies. I'm going to wait. And if my little brother get up and say, I'm going to get a cookie, man, I'm going to tell him, you better not take those cookies. Mommy said we're not to eat those cookies. And we're going to do what mommy said because mommy takes care of us. That's when you are a little boy trying to grow up to be a man. When you are a little boy not trying to grow up to be a little man, then you do sneak around and steal the cookies. And that's what's in IUIC. They're not being men. They're like little boys. That's why that gang member almost killed that brother. Like, first of all, to tell the brother to lie on another brother means you could care less about the brother you telling him to lie on.
Right.
Not to mention that you don't have no morals about what you do for your own gain. And on top of that, when you get caught, now you mad and so emotionally mad that you want to beat this man to death and end up with a case that can put you in prison for years. You're emotional. You're like a little boy. And you don't know you're a little boy because you go to the gym and you got muscles. Or you was in a gang and you done shot people. So in your mind, you ain't a little boy, but you are a little stupid ass kid. You like a dumbass little kid and you don't even know that you that. Well, in the I.S.U.P.K, we ain't that. We are a total different thing than that thing that goes on over there. You understand? So with that, can I?
Yeah, you can do now. There's more, but I think we need to get it next week because there's a whole lot more. I got them admitting about the problem. They got adultery in their school.
Damn. Is it ready on the pull?
It's on here. It's at the end of this.
Just tune in for next week.
Yeah, but next year, come on.
Okay. No, you right. No, you right. And don't y'all forget about my man, the master swindler. Because brother, you got to yes, y'all got to put that together, Haas. Because that listen, it should his con game should be taught at Harvard.
You're speaking about Bishop Kana.
The Bishop Kana, the tree peer. Like his con game, brother, is second to none. The boy, I'm telling you, the thing should be he should write a book. He should write a book. You think Donald Trump got art of the game?
Yikes.
His should be the IUIC of the game. Or something. I don't know. The P of the game. I don't know. But he need to write a book out because it was so good. I'm sure it's being studied right now in the CIA and the FBI. How to con the hell out of somebody. So let's not forget that. I want to get that up in the game. Hey, listen, man. July 28th, the last week of this month, I'm going to be in Chicago, man. Everybody, please go out, buy some tickets. Support your boy. You know I done supported everybody in the U.P.K. You know what I'm saying? Even if you can't make it out there, buy a goddamn ticket, man. Man, buy 5 of them tickets, man. Support me, man, and let me go and get my lecture tour on so I can cross this globe with the word of the Most High in Christ and all these brothers and sisters, man. Join us. Pay your tithes. I.S.U.P.K.com. Get on there, click the tithes button, pay your tithes. Support this truth, man, as we always ask you to. I want to thank the heavy hitters from coming in with me. General Muhammad, give it up. General Micah Allah, give it up. General Hazar Young, give it up. Officer Marah, Officer Yadiah, Officer Ibad, and the various officers up in the building. Big shout out to the car came through with us. Everybody holding us down, man. We'll see y'all next time live on the UPK, fans. Shalom.
I.S.U.P.K. under commanding General YAHANNA presents the Midwest Fire Weekend.
My name is Commander General YAHANNA, the I.S.U.P.K. And we here in the safest place you ever could be at in Chicago.
Hosted by Captain Mawquad.
I am Captain Mawquad of the I.S.U.P.K. Under Commander General YAHANNA, in charge of putting this Midwest Fire Weekend together.
July 27th through July 30th, the Midwest Fire Weekend, starting Thursday, July 27th, 9909 Roosevelt Road, Suite 100, Westchester, Illinois. Breakfast at 10 a.m. through 12 p.m. Also, Ask He the Prophet with General Mayaka from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. General Muhammad Scripture Breakdown class. From 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Cross the Line Radio with Captain Tazoriak and Captain Katazai. Late night activity from 12 a.m. until Friday, July 28th. We will have camp downtown Chicago at Magnificent Mile, 430 Michigan Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60611 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event that you don't want to miss, commanding General YAHANNA's lecture.
For God's justice to be right in the earth, this entire country has to be devastated in nuclear war.
At 1522 South Wabash Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60605 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
That's right. I was a young man 35 years ago, and they said Russia would turn on America after it came together with America.
$30 per person for the lectures. Use QR code or go to Eventbrite to purchase. Following the lecture, there will be a party from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. After that, an after party spot from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Saturday, July 29th, the Bantu Festival from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Located at 1130 Midway Pleasance, Chicago, Illinois. After that, late night activity, TBA, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday, July 30th, the Black and Brown Cookout at Garfield Park. Located at 3631 Westlake Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60624. From 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Contact us at 312-837-8022 or 708-417-0706. The Midwest Fire Weekend in Chicago.
Process.
Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle. Finally, the truth about King James, a black man who helped to preserve and safeguard the Bible. Live September 29th, 2023. Commanding General YAHANNA, live at King James Castle in Scotland. Come on down and support the I.S.U.P.K UK. Lift a glass, come and join the brotherhood and drink with the ancient as we celebrate and keep the Feast of Tabernacles for our King Yahweh in King James Castle. Bringing his crew of heavy hitters. Commanding General YAHANNA will put 12 chill General Mahaiman scripture breakdown class up against anyone, against any biblical scholar, untested, unchallenged, I.S.U.P.K, undefeated. Leviticus chapter 23, the Feast of Tabernacles in a black man's castle, hosted in Scotland, the United Kingdom, UK. Commanding General YAHANNA will be doing the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles in King James Castle, Thursday, September 28th, Scripture Breakdown class. Friday, September 29th, there will be a King James Castle tour, also a Johnny Walker Distillery tour, and Friday night, the opening of the Feast of Tabernacles. Saturday, September 30th, we will have camp on the streets of England. Sunday, October 1st, the UK Cookout. Monday, October 2nd, the Warwickshire Castle Tour. I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA at King James Castle in England. This is an absolutely monumental, historical event. Wam YAHANNA.
Want us to stop. But man, don't we deserve a shot? Don't we deserve a shot to be the Lord's people? Israel, let's do it!